So, how does an entire nation reinvent itself for the digital age? I mean, it's not just about buying the latest tech, right? It's about having a complete, thought out blueprint for the future. Today, we're going to take a look inside Qatar's really ambitious plan to become a top tier digital society. This quote from Qatar's Ministry of Communications and Information Technology, it just hits the nail on the head. It tells you right away that this isn't about ticking off a list of IT projects. Nope, this is a foundational vision to build a nation that's smarter, more efficient, and, deeply connected. That one idea is really the North Star for everything we're about to dive into. Every massive structure starts with a master plan. And for Qatar, that plan is the Digital Agenda 2030. But what's really fascinating is that this isn't some new idea they just came up with. It's a long-term vision that's been in the works for decades, as you're about to see.
What's so clear when you look at this is that this isn't a sudden sprint. It's a marathon. I mean, the journey kicked off way back in 2003 with their first e-government project. It evolved with the 2020 strategy, and now it's really hitting the accelerator with the third national development strategy. It's all building up to this big goal, the Digital Agenda 2030. It's a very deliberate, step-by-step process.
Okay, so what's this agenda actually trying to do? Well, it really stands on four key pillars. First, you've got to build the backbone, right? The world-class digital infrastructure. Second, make government services almost invisible and totally seamless using things like AI. Third, and this is so crucial, make sure everyone can come along for the ride by boosting digital literacy for the whole society. And finally, you create an environment where new ideas and startups can just flourish.
Look, having a grand vision is great, but it's just a dream without a powerful engine to make it real. And in Qatar's blueprint, that engine is automation. It's all about taking those routine manual tasks from yesterday and completely transforming them with the tech of tomorrow. To really see how this vision works in the real world, let's talk about Qatar Post. This is a service that's been around since 1950. It's the perfect example of how you can take a legacy institution and completely rewire it for the digital age. And the difference is just night and day. The old way of doing things, like having people process thousands of documents by hand, was super slow and honestly prone to mistakes. The new way? It uses something called robotic process automation, or RPA, to handle all that work. It's way faster, it's more accurate, and maybe most importantly, it frees up actual people to focus on higher value stuff. And if you want a number that really drives the point home, check this out. By using about 50 autonomous mobile robots to sort parcels, Qatar Post made the whole process 60% more efficient. That is not a small tweak. That's a massive, massive leap in productivity, and it's all thanks to automation. But what about the people? I mean, you hear robots and you immediately think about jobs. This quote from Qatar Post's digital chief really gets to the heart of it. The message is crystal clear. This isn't about replacing people, it's about elevating them. It's about giving employees a chance to learn new skills and grow in new ways, which, of course, leads us right to our next big pillar.
Exactly, because you can have the most advanced, most expensive engine in the world, but if nobody knows how to operate it or fix it or innovate with it, well, it's pretty useless, right? Technology is just a tool. The real power comes from the people who use it.
And that's exactly where the Digital Skills Framework comes into play. Launched in 2025, it's this huge national program designed to create one single clear standard for what it means to be digitally skilled. It's basically the country's playbook for building a future-proof talent pool. And the scope of this thing is pretty impressive. We're not just talking about learning how to use office software here. The framework covers 19 different areas and pinpoints 115 specific digital skills. It's a super comprehensive map of all the skills needed across the board, from government to private businesses. So how does it actually work for people? Well, the framework guides everyone through 4 stages. It all starts with basic awareness, just getting to know the skills. Then you move to deeper knowledge of the tools. From there, it's about ability, actually applying that knowledge at work. And the final goal is transformation, where people aren't just using tech, they're actively driving innovation with it. It's a really clear pathway from beginner to expert. Okay, so we have the vision, we have the engine, and we have the people. But for this entire digital building to stand tall, it has to be built on an absolutely unshakable foundation. And that foundation? Well, it's trust. Trust that's powered by some seriously robust cybersecurity and data privacy. And their approach to security is really multi-layered. You have the National Cybersecurity Agency, the NCSA, which sets the rules for pretty much everybody.
Then you have specific watchdogs for sensitive sectors, like the Qatar Central Bank for all things finance. And then, wrapping around everything is a national data privacy law, kind of like Europe's GDPR that protects every single person's data. And let's be clear, these aren't just suggestions. These are mandated required practices. This means things like data encryption and multi-factor authentication aren't optional. Having a plan to report a breach quickly isn't a nice to have. It's about weaving security into the very fabric of the digital world so that trust becomes the default set. So let's pull all of these different pieces together. As we've seen, this isn't just one or two cool initiatives. It's a carefully integrated strategy that really does form a complete blueprint. We've seen the clear and ambitious vision set by the Digital Agenda 2030. We've seen the engine of automation making that vision real in places like Qatar Post. We've seen the huge investment in people through that national skills framework. And we've seen the secure foundation that it's all built on. It's these four pillars working together that are building this digital nation. So Qatar has laid out its blueprint, connecting vision, technology, people, and trust into one single cohesive plan. And that really leaves us with a big question to think about. What can other countries learn from this kind of integrated approach?